Jack offsuit, so I decide I don't really want to get crazy here at this situation. I'd much rather just keep the pot small and control it. So, considering I don't have to buy position, I'll just limp in here. As you can see, I considered raising and decided no, I'll just limp in. Because I don't really see any point in raising, because if I'm going to raise, I'm only going to get 45 chips from my steal. Anyway, the big blind checks to me, and this flop comes pretty dry. And he checks as well, and I'll make a continuation bet. That's the first hand I played, and it was just one of those early ones where I tried to err on the side of protecting my chips rather than throwing them around by raising early on. Okay, I have ace queen here. Pretty decent player here. I think he decides to limp. She does, and I think he limps behind as well. I had ace queen here, I'm thinking, well, I definitely want to raise here. And I decided to bet slightly less than pot, considering I already have the button. I'm basically trying to take this one down pre-flop. But if we do see the flop, we still got a strong hand. And a decent player here, probably fold. I think he does. Yeah, he does. And he folds as well. I take down a pot of about 510 there, which is nice. You know, bump ourselves up a bit. A hand I think I probably misplayed looking back on it, and I wasn't so sure about it at the time when I was doing it. But anyway, pretty tight player here, limps in early position, and then another tight player decides to shove a fifth of his stack in the middle. Now, I thought I am 2.5 to 1 here. I should probably just call. Now, I'm thinking maybe a raise or a fold may have been better, considering the tightness and the way that he's only risked a fifth of his stack here. So I called, and the flop naturally missed me, and he sticks it all in, and I'm forced to fold. Now, I just have some comments on that, and that was always one of the ones I think I made a mistake on. And a better player might have made some better considered decisions. Here's another interesting hand, 6-8 suited. I quite like these hands, and I'm in the cuff, and I tried to steal from these two tight players here. And then the small stack decides, don't steal my blind. Here he is, 6.1, shoves it in. I'm getting 1.8 to 1, but I still decide to fold, conserve my chips for a later date. Right, so I get ace jack again, and a pretty loose player decides to limp under the gun. I come in for a raise, and I'm going to basically try and, if not take it down pre-flop, but try and isolate the idiot when he's out of position. Although there's committing quite a lot of my stack on this hand, and maybe a shove would have been better in this situation, but I never like shoving with ace jack because it's just too easily beaten. But it may have been a better move there, but I decided to make a decent sized raise. Decent player decides after a deliberation to fold, and naturally the idiot decides, I don't want to call. Now this flop is super dry, and I decide I'm going all in here. I'm going to really try and take him out because he's pretty aggressive, and I'd imagine if he's hit any part of this he's betting, and he hasn't bet, so I'm all in. And he folds, which is good. And alright, this is one of those situations where you get a rubbish hand, but it gets completed on the big blind, so we're getting through actually. And here I flop middle pair with a 2 kicker, which is pretty shit. And he bets out the half minimum. I'm never really quite sure I'm on here, but this guy's pretty loose and aggressive. But if he's got a 10, he's beating me. If he's got a queen, he's beating me. And also I had to consider that the guy behind me was a good solid player, and he may just call behind for that kind of size bet, which is exactly what he did. maybe I could have called, but I still think that was the right decision on reflection. Okay, so now we're getting to the later stages of this tournament, and I'm not quite cashing yet. I'm in 4th place, and I decide ace 5. I'm going to raise here, try and steal the blinds. I don't steal the blinds. The tightest player decides to call, and he checks to me. He's pretty aggressive, so I decided to fire out 500 into a paired board, and he's going to speak up if he's got something here, and he does fold. And I think I was just wondering whether making the raise with ace 5 was correct. Now we get ace 8. Now we have really stepped our game up now. We've really started raising a lot of hands before that you guys haven't seen, and now I have raised under the gun with ace 8, and the same guy calls again. And the idiot to my right decides to call as well. Now he fires out pot. He has got a pair in my opinion. I was wondering, should I have made the raise again with ace 8, considering that I've just checked him through. Just one of those hands. 3-6 now, completely by accident because of my laptop having a stupid auto click. I raise here with a 3-6. Now the super short stack decides to go on. I decided, well, I've got a pair here. I'm going to shove it in. Now this is really the turning point in my opinion. That happened because of an accident with my computer. I didn't want to make a shove here. I mean, make a raise here, and I did. And he called me the queen 10 and he made it. So that's pretty irritating stuff, that. Now we've got a raise in front of us on this hand. And when we have ace 3. This guy hasn't raised that much pre-flop. I've got to guess I'm dominated here, I think, even though I have a low M zone stack. And I can probably wait for a better situation. Yeah, there we go, I put it down, didn't mean to bet. I got ace 7 here. I raised 400 now, would a shove be better? I don't know. Nah, I think it's a pretty obvious bet to me, but whether a shove. Now I've got king 9 suited here. I'm going to make another move. Now the thing is, I've just been so aggressive, which is usually my tendency, and it had been working until a horrid 3-6. Now this guy here, he's played a few pots with me and called me through, and he shoves it in. It's an absolute instant fold for me. And now I'm starting to run short of chips, and it's not looking great now. On the short stack, I think I'm red end zoned. It's pretty much disaster. (6-3), that's an easy fold, although I may consider min betting if I accidentally click the raise button. Now here's the interesting hand I want to talk about. We get this guy here to limp in. That pot's 400. Look at that, I decide to shove it in. That is a make or break moment. Jack 2, he calls, and he's got king 5, great, I've got a good chance, and look at that, there's the jack. No heart, there are no hearts. I managed it myself at 2,000, great. That was one of those really crucial moments. Now that's 7-8 here. I could have thought about seeing whether decides to make one of the best players in No Limit Hold'em, to min bet the small blind. I'm not folding with pocket 5s here. And the flop comes absolutely beautiful. 8-8-2. He checks it to me. I decide to fire out half pot, considering there's no draws or anything on that board. He decides to min bet over the top of me and make an absolute instant shove in. He calls, he's got 10-8. Wow, 10-8. I was wondering, should I have shoved pre-flop with my pocket 5s, and then when he showed the min bet, should I have folded maybe? I can't see any reason why I'd fold, but maybe was a shove a better move pre-flop considering he made a min bet? I was just wondering there, because that may have been a better strategy at the time. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you leave plenty of comments about how some of those marginal hands that I played, and I use so.